Welcome to the channel, where today we dive into one of the most mysterious, spine-tingling, and heart-pounding tales in all of numismatics, a story so electrifying that it could change the way you look at the pennies in your pocket forever. Because what if I told you that a single 1946 wheat penny, an unassuming 1-cent piece that most people would overlook or toss into a coin jar, has been valued at an astonishing $23 million, and the reason behind its surreal worth lies buried under layers of historical secrecy, minting missteps, freak anomalies, and collector frenzy that reads more like a treasure-hunting thriller than real life. So buckle up, because from the very first strike of the Denver Mint in the post-war era, this penny was never meant to be what it became, yet somehow, against all odds, it exists, a coin that carries the weight of conspiracy, chance, and destiny within its copper shell. And to understand why this ordinary penny morphed into one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, we have to go back to a turbulent time in 1946 when America was recovering from the trauma of World War II, industries were shifting, metal supplies were scarce, and the U.S. Mint was under extraordinary pressure to resume peacetime operations, and it's here that we uncover the first anomaly. While the official record states that all 1946 Lincoln cents were supposed to be struck in standard bronze, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, rumors began to circulate among insiders that a handful of leftover steel planchets from the emergency 1943 issues were accidentally fed into the coin presses during a chaotic production period, resulting in steel 1946 wheat pennies, coins that should not exist, coins that defy official documentation, and coins that would become the stuff of legend, because the U.S. Mint never publicly acknowledged their creation. And yet over the decades, whispers, photographs, and eventually a handful of authenticated examples began to emerge, driving collectors mad with speculation. And it wasn't just the steel composition that set this mysterious penny apart, no, it gets deeper. One such specimen, verified in the hands of a reclusive collector who had reportedly acquired it through a retired mint employee in the 1960s, was later revealed to possess a triple die obverse, a striking anomaly where Lincoln's profile appears to shimmer with multiple outlines, as though the coin itself is haunted by its own impossible origins. And as this coin changed hands in secret auctions and underground bidding wars, its price ballooned until one fateful night, a private collector from Dubai, known only by the alias, the Falcon, reportedly paid $23 million for it through a silent transaction facilitated by a Swiss numismatic firm, igniting a firestorm of debate among experts who still can't agree whether this coin is the product of pure minting accident, wartime material confusion, or a deliberate, hush-hush experiment that was never supposed to leave the mint's premises. And adding fuel to the fire is the fact that this specific coin shows strange die markers, such as a phantom-esque mint mark ghosted beneath the D, leading some to believe it may have originated at the San Francisco Mint before being transferred to Denver in a highly unusual cross-facility strike, a theory that, if true, would point to a covert wartime effort to balance production loads at a time when secrecy trumped transparency. And while the U.S. government has never issued an official statement about this coin, several Freedom of Information Act requests have unearthed heavily redacted documents referencing a Class III copper alloy anomaly from 1946 and suggesting that several such coins were recalled and destroyed, but one or more may have escaped destruction. And what's even more chilling is that these documents include a memo from the Treasury Department warning that any confirmation of the coin's existence would destabilize the integrity of the mint's historical output, a phrase that sent shivers down the spines of numismatists worldwide. And as the legend grew, so did the theories, from accusations that a rogue mint employee intentionally created the coin as a protest against post-war economic inequality, to wild claims that it was part of a secret message encoded by Freemasons within the U.S. currency system, to the idea that it was a test coin using a unique alloy now lost to time and war, a magical blend that could only have come from a specific shipment of salvaged naval copper melted down from sunken World War II ships, giving it not just monetary value but historical and emotional gravity. And as more private collectors began searching their vaults, swearing they too had seen or heard of similar coins, the hunt for the lost 1946 wheat penny intensified, with treasure hunters scanning estate sales, metal detectorists combing Civil War battlefields on the hope that a soldier's descendant might have passed it down, and collectors forming global alliances to trade information, code names, and possible leads, all in pursuit of the ultimate numismatic prize, and this obsessive mania came to a head in 2019 when a supposed second specimen surfaced at a rural auction house in Kansas, discovered inside an old tobacco tin among Civil War buttons. And while the coin was whisked away by agents claiming to represent the Smithsonian, no public record of its authentication has ever been released, only a leak from a former museum contractor who claimed the coin was so chemically unique it exhibited ferromagnetic properties inconsistent with any known U.S. penny alloy, raising the mind-bending possibility that this wasn't just a mint error but something entirely different, possibly extraterrestrial in origin, which of course sparked a wave of conspiracy theories linking the coin to the 1947 Roswell incident and Cold War-era secret technology experiments, and while most experts dismiss those as far-fetched, they do agree on one thing: this coin should not exist, and yet it does, and its journey from a minting mystery to a $23 million treasure has left a trail of awe, obsession, and unanswered questions that continue to pull new collectors, historians, and fortune seekers into its orbit, because every detail, the ghost mint mark, the unexpected composition, the triple die strike, the secret memos, the vanishing second specimen, the anonymous billionaire buyer, the mounting price tags, the historical inconsistencies, and the eerie silence from official agencies, all point to a truth far more complex and fascinating than anyone could have imagined, and perhaps the most haunting part of all is the question it leaves us with: if one of the most valuable coins in history was created by mistake and buried in secrecy for over 70 years, how many more like it are still out there, waiting to be discovered in old drawers, forgotten jars, or tucked inside the dusty pages of a grandparent's book, silently carrying stories that could rewrite history, shatter records, and make someone unimaginably rich? And it could be you, because maybe, just maybe, the next time you glance at a penny in your palm, it won't be just a coin, but the key to unlocking one of the greatest mysteries in American numismatic history. So if this story has gripped your curiosity and fired up your imagination, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us on the next unbelievable journey into the world of rare coins and hidden fortunes. Next, 1958 wheat penny USA coins. Today, could a single penny in your pocket unlock a hidden fortune worth $29 million? What if that ordinary copper coin wasn't ordinary at all, but instead one of the rarest and most mysterious coins ever struck in the United States, a 1958 wheat penny with a story so tangled in error, secrecy, and sheer numismatic madness that it has baffled experts, stunned collectors, and driven treasure hunters into obsession for decades? Because somewhere between the hammer of the Denver Mint's press and the passage of time, something unexplainable happened, something that birthed a coin so elusive and so anomalous that its mere existence challenges everything we thought we knew about U.S. coinage. And the deeper you look, the stranger it gets. How could a coin minted in a year that was supposed to have no errors suddenly surface with not just one, but a convergence of flaws so rare that each one individually would make headlines, but together elevate the value into territory normally reserved for ancient royal artifacts or moon rocks? And what if I told you this 1958 wheat penny, seemingly a farewell to an era as Lincoln's wheat design was ending, didn't just carry a D for Denver, but possibly a hidden code, an unintentional secret signature of a minting process gone off the rails? Because numismatists began to notice something unsettling when they examined these few remaining 1958 specimens under high magnification. A doubling of letters so crisp and clear that it couldn't be brushed off as mechanical, the kind of doubling normally seen in the infamous 1955 double die penny, yet this one had escaped public awareness for decades, suggesting not only extreme rarity but also the possibility that it was never meant to exist at all. And as one collector from Ohio unearthed a mysterious hoard from an estate sale, including a 1958 penny with mirrored fields and deep, clean strikes, he noticed that Lincoln's profile looked oddly distorted, slightly stretched, as if the die itself had been misaligned in a way that defied traditional classification. And when he sent it to be graded, what came back was more than a shock. The graders were divided, with some claiming it was a transitional error, others insisting it was a previously undocumented double die with microvarieties in both the date and the lettering, and a few quietly whispering that it might even be a clandestine pattern coin, one of the ultra-rare test strikes never meant to be released. And suddenly the 1958 wheat penny was no longer a coin, but a legend, a mystery, a ghost. slipping between the cracks of official records and the dusty archives of the U.S. Mint. But how did it happen? Some believe it was a rogue mint employee who struck a few experimental coins using leftover dies from the 1955 double die batch, repunched with a 1958 date and shipped out under the radar. Others point to the chaos surrounding the transition from the wheat reverse to the memorial in 1959, suggesting that in the rush to complete orders, coins were mistruck, improperly catalogued, or deliberately hidden. And then there's the theory that a cache of experimental 1958 D cents was buried intentionally during a period of Cold War paranoia, as fears of economic espionage gripped American institutions and led to the suppression of sensitive information, including certain unauthorized mintings. Whatever the case, when the first confirmed specimen hit auction, the room fell silent as the opening bid soared past six figures within seconds, and before the hammer dropped, it had crossed into the multi-million-dollar realm, setting off a frenzy among collectors, historians, and even intelligence agencies, as whispers emerged about government interest in rare coin movements and a black market bidding war involving private vaults and offshore collections. Suddenly, collectors began scrutinizing their change jars, examining every 1958 D they could find, hunting for signs of doubling, misalignment, lamination errors, and phantom mint marks, with some reporting coins that appeared to change appearance under UV light or reveal hidden markings only visible at extreme angles. And while skeptics dismissed some of these findings as pareidolia or wishful thinking, others argued that the government's silence on the matter was suspicious in itself, especially considering FOIA requests to the Denver Mint about 1958 error logs were returned heavily redacted or marked as "no records found." Then came the story of a reclusive collector in Arizona who claimed to have found a 1958 D wheat penny with inverted lettering, a missing designer's initials, and microscopic inconsistencies in the copper zinc alloy content that suggested the blank planchet had been repurposed from an older stockpile, possibly even from a batch used during World War II. His coin, never officially authenticated but known to a tight circle of elite numismatists, was said to have been traded in a clandestine deal involving rare Confederate currency and a gold double eagle, further cementing its mythos. Meanwhile, others reported 1958 D cents with sharp rotational strikes, uneven collar pressure, and even overlapping mint marks, as if more than one die had struck the coin in a single chaotic moment. And as these coins trickled into the spotlight, each carrying unique combinations of flaws, a ghost S mark here, a misaligned rim there, a double date somewhere else, the numismatic world began to ask, are we looking at a single error coin, or the tip of an iceberg of unauthorized, experimental, or covert coinage conducted during a transitional year that has never been fully accounted for in public mint records? And if so, how many exist, and why have so few surfaced? Some say the most valuable 1958 D wheat penny wasn't just misstruck, it was deliberately struck to test new minting techniques or even to hide valuable metals in plain sight during an era of economic uncertainty, and one metallurgist's lab results showing anomalous traces of rare earth elements in a submitted 1958 D sample only deepened the mystery. Was it a fluke, a contaminated planchet, or something more, perhaps a coin struck on a foreign blank, or part of a secret minting program designed to test new alloy compositions for covert wartime applications? And if this penny, now valued at $29 million due to its unique constellation of errors, secretive origins, and jaw-dropping rarity, was accidentally released into circulation, what else could be out there, waiting to be found in the most mundane places, tucked into an old cigar box, buried beneath attic dust, or lost inside the velvet lining of a forgotten heirloom drawer, as auction houses brace for the next appearance of a high-grade specimen and collectors dig through their change with the fervor of gold rush prospectors? The mystery of the 1958 D wheat penny only deepens, drawing in historians, theorists, and casual enthusiasts alike into a story that blends government oversight, mechanical failure, human error, and the timeless allure of treasure hunting into a numismatic narrative that feels less like coin collecting and more like decoding a national secret. So before you spend that old penny or overlook that tarnished cent sitting in your junk drawer, ask yourself, what if you're holding the key to a multi-million-dollar enigma that has haunted mint officials and thrilled collectors for over half a century? And if you enjoyed unraveling this thrilling mystery and want to discover more stories about rare coins hiding in plain sight with shocking backstories and unbelievable values, make sure to like, subscribe, And stay tuned for more treasure hunting tales that could change your life forever.